All right, my friend was kind enough to come over yesterday and bring his Sony A7IV. Since I just got the Canon R6, I wanted to test them side by side. I had tested them side by side in the store, but when you're in there for 10, 15 minutes, it's really hard to get to know the camera enough to get the settings equal, so I feel like it wasn't a very fair test. I want to be happy with my Switch. Okay. So for the footage, before I jump into it, I just want to explain what I did with the cameras. He doesn't have a prime lens, I do. He has a Tamron zoom lens, so we set it to 35. Although it's f2.8, I just set my lens to 2.8 as well. So they're both shooting in 35mm, they're both at f2.8. We did auto ISO. We set the ISO for a lot of the tests. I'll have the numbers on the screen. And as far as picture profiles go, on the Sony, he turned them off. And on the Canon, I set it to standard. In some cases throughout the videos, I tweaked it a little bit just to make it a fair fight because it's hard to get the settings exactly the same. But I think the footage does a good job of representing what Canon offers and what Sony offers. Okay, let's jump into the footage right now. Let's take a look. Let's go, let's go.
Is like there's also a setting. I don't know if you found it on here, but like it picks up the autofocus faster on here, but I know there's also a setting for
I have it in the middle on that one. Is yours pumped up?
I think mine's in the middle.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. You know what? I'm not going to be doing this kind of stuff anyways.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. They both actually kind of pick up at, sometimes one will pick up before the other and the other will pick up before at least the indicator.
Alright, this is my vlogging test. How's it staying? Settings are 30 frames per second, 1/400 shutter speed, ISO 100. Let's see how it looks. Locking on my face. How's a little light jog doing? Rolling shutter. Ooh. I'm getting dizzy. Side by side. Here's the Canon. let's play around with some different color backgrounds. Let's really mess it up for this. That is teal. Let's see. It shows that. How's Sony doing? Sony's in greens, they look good. How are you doing, Canon? Let's go over to where the Canon. Yeah, I was doing all these tests with my A6400.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting to see the differences in like just the color background, like how it affects skin and stuff. It's so cool doing side by side. Last thing I want to do. This is standard profile. Yeah, auto white balance. Here we go. Custom white balance. Here's the Canon. Here's the Sony. Let's put some colors on the background. Bing! Let's change the gray. Too bright. Colored on. Okay, my conclusion after scrubbing through all that footage and using both of the cameras was I'm really happy with the Canon. I love the colors, I love the skin tones. Now, to be fair to the Sony, once you start playing with the picture profiles, you could get the camera to have the look that you want, but it's just a little bit more work. I think for a lot of people that like those color profiles and don't mind tinkering around in post, I think that Sony is really cool. I'll talk more about the features and stuff in a second, but when it comes to just image quality, the Canon was a lot more contrasty, just with kind of the default settings, a lot more saturation. Just the skin looks so warm. And for me, that's it. That's the reason why I would ever choose one thing or the other. It ultimately comes down to color. So the Canon, I'm really happy with how the Canon looks, even though the tech doesn't seem as new. Holding the bodies side by side, and you might have heard this if you've looked at other videos, the Sony feels tough, it feels like really good build quality. The Canon's kind of this lighter plastic. It just feels like not as a premium as a product, but it feels good in the hand. There's something about it. It's weird. It's like cheap plastic, big screen, nice screen. The Sony's smaller plastic, kind of smaller screen. Using the screen on the Canon is a treat. The color looks good. On the Sony and with the menus, it's just all crammed. I didn't really like it that much. So again, when it comes to just wanting to pick something up and click record, the Canon just has that certain je ne sais quoi kind of thing with it. It has this history of Canon colors and something. There's something behind the Canon name and the brand that for people like me, I don't know. I've been on Sony for a while. Sony has that too, but in a different way. you know? Just like comparing cars, some of those old brands that have been around, BMW, the refinements of some of those older cars compared to a newer Tesla or something like that, you know? Yeah, I think Sony is more like Tesla. And they do a lot of good things, but there's just that years of experience that Canon kind of has. So what do you think? Out of all of it, did anything surprise you? As far as the autofocus goes, you could kind of hear us talking a little bit about it. I didn't tinker with the settings at all. The Canon seemed to take a little second longer to find focus when it was just a face popping into the scene. But once you're on the scene, it locks and stays on you. I think better than the Sony did. So I think Sony finds focus faster in the default settings. Again, you could go in and tinker the motors and stuff. It makes sounds and things like that. I'm just kind of doing it out of the box with a few basic changes. But I think as far as the locked on footage goes, the Canon might even be better. So quicker focus with the Sony, better locked on tracking with the Canon. I don't think I want to take back the Canon and exchange it back to the Sony. After having used both systems, again, it wasn't a comprehensive use with the Sony. I didn't have weeks with it or anything like that. Maybe it would be a different story, but just this is how people have to decide and make decisions. And I made a decision, and now I had this opportunity to get a glimpse back on the other side and see if I'm want to go that way, if the grass was greener. But in this case, it wasn't. So really loving the Canon. I still would tell people to buy Sony, but for me, I just love the Canon. So I can't wait to continue to get to know it more. I'm gonna have a lot more videos as I get better with the camera and as I discover new things. I have a lot of really cool ideas coming up for videos. So be sure to sub to the channel so you don't miss those. Thank you so much for watching. If there's anything else that you wanna see when it comes to this camera, let me know in the comments below. I love chatting about camera stuff, so please, if you wanna talk about anything camera related, hit me up. All right, be sure to watch this video next, or this one. See you next time on the Sad Studio.